It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Forgive me, I'm French, I get to be dramatic. We are living in the best of times, times of unprecedented information availability. But I'm one of those who felt a twinge of nostalgia when it was announced that the card catalog was officially dead earlier this year. I'm also someone who started using Google in 1998 and never looked back. And yet, it's also the worst of times. Here we are in 2015, when Back to the Future would have us believe we'd have flying skateboards by now, and we're still spinning our wheels trying to build knowledge out of the heaps of data. A decade ago, in 2005, several groups came together with what seemed to us like a simple idea. Wouldn't it be great, we said naively, hopefully, the dew shining in our eyes, wouldn't it be great if my list of co-ops in the Northeast could talk to your list of worker co-ops in the US, and your list of tech worker co-ops, and your list of student housing and worker co-ops? And so the Data Commons Project was born. Yeah, I know, we have been called perhaps the geekiest of all cooperative organizations on the planet, which is a lot to say in a room like this, but we're proud of it. The Data Commons, now a member-owned cooperative with 30 data sharing members, incorporated in 2012. We want to find the Zen of Venn, the happy place in the overlap between various slices of the solidarity, cooperative, new, social, what have you, economy. We're trying to make it so that whenever one person puts in effort into gathering information, let's take, for example, the network of Bay Area cooperatives, No Boss. They're not a member of the Data Commons, but an inspiration to us. Let's say when people gather directory information, somebody puts in some effort. That effort is boosted by the accumulated efforts of others and contributes to the general pool. The process is based on reciprocity, collaboration, and inclusion, the idea that we can do more together than we can separately. On the one hand, what we want to do is help people avoid a rather pedestrian pain. To illustrate, let me pick on my friends in the Bay Area worker co-op community just a little bit. They know I love them, it's okay. So in 2011, No Boss put out a beautiful map. It was out of date literally before the ink was dry. So they said, to hell with beauty, let's just stick all this on a Google map, much easier to keep up to date. So it just so happens that the US Federation of Worker Co-ops has a directory listing all the worker co-ops in the country that they worked really hard to build. And it just so happens that they are headquartered in Oakland, which for those of you who may not know is in the Bay Area. So as you would expect, most of the co-ops that are on the No Boss list are also on the Federation list, and vice versa. But there are some that are on one but not the other. For example, everybody's favorite worker co-op, the Lusty Lady, a stripper-owned peep show, is on the No Boss list. Only, sadly, the Lusty Lady went out of business in September of 2013. Don't think the Federation's always got the upper hand. They still list CoSoap, which hasn't updated its Facebook page since 2012, so I guess it's dead. Some of you are probably thinking, so what? But I know that some of you are just itching to just go in and fix this. You're the ones who edit Wikipedia when you see a typo, aren't you? You know who you are. One idea would be to make a Wikipedia of all things alternative, like worker co-ops and community gardens and all that good stuff. But does that make sense? One challenge would be that somebody's bound to make an alternative version. So at the Data Commons, we've taken an alternative approach. Rather than attempt a centralization of information, what the Data Commons is aiming for is a liberation of information. Let it flow! We have created an open source mapping platform conducive to easy maintenance and sharing called Stone Soup. It's used by Cooperative Maine, the Manitoba Cooperative Association, and it's also been adapted by the US Solidarity Economy Network. Nonetheless, we aim to be platform independent. A key piece of technology created by Data Commons volunteers is DAFF, D-A-F-F, a way to compare and select changes to merge into tables of data. DAFF can be wrapped into any other language or platform and is already being used by open data geeks and scientists. In a world where the tools of the Data Commons are easily accessible for all, when a grassroots group finds out about a new co-op in their area, or a land trust, or a time exchange, or a farmer's market, or an open source project, and they update their list of what's cool in Springfield, a change digest will flow to all the organizations that care about Springfield, or farmers markets, or solidarity, or co-ops. And those organizations will be able to select and patch that new information into their own directories. Each listing will be tagged with date of update and badges of verification from as many groups as will vouch for them. Defunct listings will stay in a database and be marked as dead, so they don't come back to haunt the living. And so, on the other hand, besides making the lives of countless summer interns easier, or maybe just freeing them up for, going out and changing the world, if we make it easier to have a good idea of who all is out there, that will make it easier to organize conferences, mount legislative campaigns, conduct research, form purchasing co-ops, and launch new enterprises. The mission of the Data Commons Cooperative is to build free and open infrastructure for members to collaboratively gather, share, maintain, display, and deploy information about a generative economy. Working together, we'll have the resources to extend the usefulness of everyone's data, for instance, by tracking political boundaries and representatives and overlaying them on our constituent maps, or by supporting business-to-business exchanges and consumer options. As a member-owned cooperative, we aim to benefit our members. Our vision is to be a critical catalyst for collaborative, generative, distributed flows of data in service of a collaborative, generative, distributed economy. Thank you very much.